Now, let us look at this issue response template which I have designed for you. Please keep in mind the criteria I have written there, GODAV. G means grammar, which means your sentences should be grammatically correct. I don't need to explain that. O stands for organized response, which means your introduction should be very clear. You should take a clear position. Don't create any suspense for the reader. If you do that, then you are not likely to get a good score. And the rubric says that you are free to agree or disagree. Rubric, R-U-B-R-I-C. Rubric means rules to follow. Rubric means instructions. Scoring rubric means assessment criteria used by somebody to score some performance. Scoring rubric. So the professor who's going to assess your response is going to use a scoring rubric also. That means if your response meets some criteria, a certain set of criteria, you get 6 out of 6. If you meet only a certain lesser set, then you'll get 5 out of 6. So that's called a scoring rubric. The word rubric has another meaning also. Rubric means a title. Under the rubric of Indian history, under the rubric of politics, title, chapter heading. Rubric means rules to follow. Rubric means title. Rubric means assessment criteria. Now the rubric in GRE AVA is you are free to agree or disagree, but my rubric is never fully agree or disagree. Always say there are multiple perspectives. The speaker is making a sweeping generalization. We should examine all of them, and it will be found that what the speaker says is true, perhaps in most of the situation, but sometimes it's not so. Do something like that. Right? So, organized response basically means your introduction should be clear, and the same introduction, if you paraphrase, that is your conclusion. And the body of the response should contain at least 4 paragraphs. The more you write, the better it is. I think all of us know right from schooling days that ekku raste ekku marklu vastayi. The same thing is true in GRE. You write more, you are likely to get more. So, but don't write big paragraphs, write small paragraphs. So, 4, 5 small paragraphs, and each paragraph should also be organized. Now, an organized paragraph would mean that it follows some structure. You're not writing a love letter. Hello. If you are writing a love letter, you pour your heart on paper. There's no structure there. Right? If there is a structure, then that is not love, that is technology. Anyway, I'm just joking. So when you are writing a paragraph, follow the PREP formula. Point, reason, example, point. That means the opening sentence will be, for example, let us examine the idea that A is good for health. That's the point. The next sentence would be, A is good for health because A contains LMNOP. Those are the reasons. The next sentence will be, A was administered to a group of people who were suffering from some condition and their condition improved. That's the example. The last sentence will, in the light of the examples and the reasons above, A can be considered useful, blah, blah, blah. So PREP. Sometimes you may not want to conclude the paragraph. So don't conclude it. Start another paragraph by saying, further examples can be taken. More reason, more example. At the end, in the light of all the, you can do that. So you have written 2 paragraphs supporting. Then you will write the next paragraph with the word however, which means now you are going to contradict. However, in some cases, A can be very dangerous and harmful. Now you will give some reasons. Contraindications, in what conditions this can be dangerous. More examples. Then you will write 2 paragraphs where A can be dangerous. I mean, the topic must have been, somebody said A is very good and blah, 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 blah. We will say, listen, A is good in these circumstances for these people and dangerous for those people in those circumstances. That's how you should be. I think you understood what I just said. And then D for details. Details means reasons and examples. Don't worry too much about what kind of examples to give. This is a common problem. Many students bother about what examples. I think you should give examples which an American reader will appreciate. 1 paragraph on Jesus Christ, 1 on Mahatma Gandhi, 1 on Abraham Lincoln, 1 on Obama or Albert Einstein, Newton. Take some popular names from different fields. Give examples. Obviously, don't write about Alluri Sita Ramaraju. Right? Please don't do that. That fellow will be shocked. He'll faint. And GODAV. V means vocabulary. Vocabulary. So make sure that you practice sufficiently with at least 10 big words so that you can use them correctly. So you'll get points for vocabulary. So that's the criteria. Now, this is your issue response template. So something like I just suggested, I do not agree in toto with the speaker that. In toto is simply a Latin phrase, means in totality. That means పూర్తిగా నేను ఒప్పుకోను. You can write it in your own way. And then one more important thing when you are writing your essay, they have designed a software called e-rater, electronic rater, which works like a search engine. Therefore, and it looks for certain words. Therefore, these words are called semantic markers, transitional words. That is words like first of all, then, secondly, thirdly, fourthly, finally, in addition. These are sequence words. Contrast words. However, but, though, although, nevertheless, nonetheless, albeit. And other transitional words are, for example, in addition, and things like that. So try to use as many of these words. Start every paragraph like that. First of all, blah, 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 blah. However, blah, 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 therefore, blah, blah, blah. Your second paragraph will be, secondly, blah, 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 blah. Additionally, blah, 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 blah. But, blah, 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 blah. Therefore, blah, 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 blah. Your third paragraph will be, thirdly. Have you understood? You do that. Now, at the bottom of this paper, I gave you some words. Let us see, I think, yeah, I still have time. WhatsApp doesn't accept any file which is more than 14 MB. I still have time. I'm going to rush you through these words. Look at the bottom of the paper. You have seen I've written there vocab to use. Use your discretion. Discretion means wisdom. Wisdom. Discretion means wisdom. Wisdom means sense of judgment, knowing what is good and bad in the long run, what is right and wrong in the long run. Right. Substantial is the next word. Substantial means significant, large amount, or having substance, something tangible, palpable, something that can be touched. Substantial amount of evidence ante chala undi. An ambitious task. Ambitious అన్న వాడికి రెండు మీనింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఒక మీనింగ్ మనకు ఆల్రెడీ తెలుసు. Ambitious means having great goals to achieve. Ambitious కి ఇంకో మీనింగ్, GRE మీనింగ్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. A very difficult task which requires lot of effort and courage. తర్వాత prodigious achievements అన్నాం. Prodigious means extraordinary. Extraordinary. Prodigy, Prodigy. Prodigy means a child genius, a precocious child, a whiz kid, wunderkind. Next phrase I have written there, must deliberate on. Deliberate means to carefully consider, analyze in depth. Deliberate also means intentional. That's a common meaning. We are deliberating on this problem అంటే ఈ ప్రాబ్లం మీద మేము చాలా చింతన చేస్తున్నాము, మంతన చేస్తున్నాము, ఆలోచిస్తున్నాము. సో డెలిబరేట్ అంటే బాగా ఆలోచించి తీసుకున్న డెసిషన్, వెల్ థాట్ అవుట్. సో డెలిబరేట్కి ఆపోజిట్ ఇస్ ప్రెసిపిటేట్ డెసిషన్. ప్రెసిపిటేట్ అంటే హేస్టీ. ప్రెసిపిటేట్కి మూడు మీనింగ్స్ ఉన్నాయి. నౌన్గా వాడితే సెడిమెంట్, వర్బ్గా వాడితే టు స్పీడప్, అడ్జెక్టివ్గా వాడితే హేస్టీ. హేస్టీకి సినోనిమ్స్ హెడ్లాంగ్, HEADLONG, foolhardy, FOOLHARDY, foolhardy. Knee-jerk reaction, knee-jerk. So these are important GRE words. Next, workable plans. Workable, viable, practicable means leading to the desired results. Redeem or pledge to the world community. That's a nice phrase. Redeem ante justify. Redeem. He redeemed his inclusion in the team by scoring a century. Justify. So, contentious issue. Contentious means leading to fights, quarrels, disputatious, controversial, polemical. Meticulous planning. Meticulous means very thorough, taking all details into account. Meticulous synonyms are finicky, persnickety, fastidious, punctilious, painstaking, exacting. I think you'll have to use some audio player to slow down the voice, right? I'm speaking too rapidly because I'm worried. If it exceeds 10-14 MB, WhatsApp won't take the file. Drastic overhaul. Drastic ante extreme. Overhaul ante complete change. We are overhauling the engine ante పూర్తిగా రిపేర్ చేస్తున్నాం. డ్రాస్టిక్ ఓవర్హాల్ అంటే ఏమిటి? పూర్తిగా ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్ మార్పులు తీసుకొస్తున్నాం, పెద్ద పెద్ద మార్పులు తీసుకొస్తున్నాం. పెరెస్ట్రాయికా ఈజ్ ఎ వర్డ్, PERESTROIKA. పెరెస్ట్రాయికా ఈజ్ ఎ రష్యన్ వర్డ్, ఇట్స్ ఎ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ వర్డ్. ఇట్ మీన్స్ రీస్ట్రక్చరింగ్. రీస్ట్రక్చరింగ్ అంటే పూర్తి మార్పు. ఓకే. పెరోకియల్ అవుట్లుక్, పెరోకియల్ అంటే నేరో. పార్టీసన్ దానికి సినోనిమ్, ఆపోజిట్ విల్ బి లిబరల్, ఎక్లెక్టిక్. స్ట్రింజెంట్ యార్డ్ స్టిక్, స్ట్రింజెంట్ అంటే వెరీ స్ట్రిక్ట్, యార్డ్ స్టిక్ అంటే మెజర్మెంట్, స్టాండర్డ్. డాంటింగ్ ఛాలెంజ్, డాంటింగ్ అంటే స్కేరీ. డాంటింగ్ మీన్స్ సంథింగ్ దట్ రిక్వైర్స్ కరేజ్ అండ్ ఎఫర్ట్. సబ్స్టాన్షియేట్, సబ్స్టాన్షియేట్ అంటే ప్రొవైడ్ ఎవిడెన్స్. ఎ చేసనింగ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్, అక్కడ టీ సైలెంట్. చేసనింగ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అంటే గుణపాఠం తెలుగులో. చేసన్ అంటే స్కోల్డ్, మందలించడం. హీ వాజ్ చేసన్డ్ ఫర్ హిస్ బ్యాడ్ బిహేవియర్. సో చేసనింగ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ అంటే ఏం చెప్తున్నావు? నా జీవితంలో గుణపాఠం నాకు వచ్చింది, నేను ఏదో చేశాను, దానివల్ల ఏదో నేర్చుకున్నాను. సో అది చేసనింగ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్. టీ సైలెంట్. We must take a dialectical approach to appreciate various perspectives connected with the topic. That's a big sentence. Now you have to understand the word dialectic. Dialectical means తెలుగులో కీడెంచి మేలెంచాలి అంటారు. డయాలెక్టిక్స్ అంటే మంచి చెడులను అన్నిటినీ విచారించి డిసిషన్ తీసుకోవడం. దట్స్ కాల్డ్ డయాలెక్టిక్స్. Dialectics is a method of arriving at a better understanding of something by examining the pros and the cons. The thesis, the antithesis leading to a synthesis. That's called dialectics. Thesis ante A is good for health అని ఎవరన్నా అంటే దాన్ని thesis అనుకోవచ్చు. Somebody may say A is dangerous. అది antithesis, opposite. ఇద్దరు వాదనలు విన్నాం అనుకోండి, ఫార్ మాట్లాడేవాడు, అగేన్స్ట్ మాట్లాడేవాడు, వాళ్ళిద్దరిది విన్న తర్వాత మనకి ఏ గురించి ఇంకా నాలెడ్జ్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత దాన్ని సింథసిస్ అంటాం. దట్ మీన్స్ నౌ వీఆర్ బెటర్ ఇన్ఫార్మ్డ్ అబౌట్ ఏ. దిస్ హోల్ ప్రాసెస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ డయాలెక్టిక్స్. మన పార్లమెంట్లో జరగవలసింది డయాలెక్టికల్ అప్రోచ్, కానీ అలా జరగట్లేదు. దట్స్ ఎ ప్రాబ్లం. లాస్ట్ వన్, స్వీపింగ్ జనరలైజేషన్, ఓవర్ జనరలైజేషన్, hasty generalization is a phrase which means somebody is saying something very unreasonable. It cannot be proved. Right? Thank you very much. Jai Shri Ram.